talking next about the models of e-business, right? So in the traditional format, we have a basic B2B model, C2B model, C2C model, B2C, C2G and B2G. Now, you have heard about all these models wherein B2B stands for your business to business, consumer to business is C2B, and then consumer to consumer. Then we have business to consumer, consumer to government and business to government. So these are the very traditional model that goes otherwise, wherein your business directly interacts with the consumer or the business interacts with the government or the consumer interacts with the government. Now imagine all of these business models are taking place onto the digital node or onto the digital channel. So then we call it e-business models, right? So when we are talking about these e-business models, they provide a sort of more, personalization, a better quality services to the consumer and a better supply chain management. Now, why am I saying that there is a better personalization? Imagine you traveling to a store or going to a store, right? And there being a lot of consumers. So the time, span that you are specifically getting from the supplier can comparatively, less, and can comparatively, the supplier would not be that much attentive to you as he'll be making that, that much attention to the other consumer. So that ways, when we talk about an e-business model, it is more of your personalization. Here it doesn't matter whether you purchase a good which is worth 5,000 or which is worth 500. The same sort of, you could say, personalization will be there. You will also get the access to digital catalogs. You will also get the access to different payment options. You will also get the similar services as any other consumer is getting. So that ways we see that it is more of your, personalized model. It is more of a better quality services model, and of course a supply chain system which is much more robust, which is much more integrated. Now talking about various models of e-business, the very first model is your storefront model. So this model is a basic form of your e-commerce in which your buyer and your sellers, they interact directly, and it combines the transaction processing, security, online payment and information storage to enable merchants to sell their products online. Now, when we say that it is a basic form of e-commerce wherein your buyer and seller interact directly, it basically means that, as you otherwise see a store, what will happen in a store? That you directly interact with the seller, right? So similarly into a storefront model, there is a direct interaction of the seller with the buyer. That means you go to the website of the seller, whatever stuff you want to go, so you can simply add on to the cart and just move forward, make the payment and buy the stuff. So there stands no intermediary. So it will be, as we say, that it combines transaction processing. That means you will process the transaction. The seller would make sure that the payment goes through the, a very secured, safe payment interface. Then there is an online payment system, and plus moreover that online database is updated wherein both the seller and the consumer, they are getting the information with respect to the good that is being sold online, right? Now, when we are saying that what all happens in a storefront model, basically in order to provide a conducive environment, the storefront merchants, they need to organize these online catalogs so that the consumers can take orders, they can put up the orders through their websites, and the sellers are able to easily accept the payments and then further send the merchandise to consumers, and customer data can be managed easily. Now, when we say this, to conduct storefront e-commerce merchants to organize these catalogs, by that we mean that, in a storefront model, as I say, that, these things are displayed in a digital catalog. So you go into the right side of maybe the website, you see into those filters being there or those segregations being there, wherein there is different compartments for different sections, wherein let's suppose for the women, so you will get the segment for women, let's suppose women accessories, women shoe, women jeans, women, let's suppose trousers, women saris, women suits. Similar for the men shirts, men tees, or men's trousers or shoe or bags or belt, anything, right? So similarly for the child or for the adult segment. So you see a very well organized online catalog of products are there, because there is no you could say person is there who will come to you and will explain, okay, this is what is, how the product differentiates from the other products. So they have to communicate each and everything through their digital catalogs. So that is why those digital catalogs needs to be organized in a well manner. They need to be placed in a well manner so that the consumer, just by a glance, they can feel like, okay, this is a good I want to buy. Okay, this is the good that, this is the way how it differentiates from the other brands. So that way, that feeling should immediately come to the consumer when it is going through the storefront model. Right. Similarly, the storefront should be marketed to the potential consumers or the customers. So when we say na potential customers ko market hona chahiye, that means since all of these storefront models are your business to consumer, that means अगर एक company A है और वो कंज्यूमर उसको पता है ये मेरा सेगमेंट है यूथ और मैं ट्रेड इन कर रहा हूँ क्लोथिंग में, और क्लोथिंग ऐसी कैसे जो कैजुअल है, जो एथनिक भी है, बट इट इज कॉस्ट इफेक्टिव. तो मेरा सेगमेंटेशन कौन हुआ? मेरा सेगमेंटेशन हुआ यूथ. तो उस यूथ को मुझे फोकस करना है, टारगेट करना है. तो यूथ को फोकस करने के लिए मेरा जो मॉडल होना चाहिए स्टोर फ्रंट मॉडल होना चाहिए, जहां बिजनेस जो है डायरेक्टली अपने पोटेंशियल कस्टमर के साथ इंटरेक्ट कर रहा है और कस्टमर को फर्स्ट हैंड इंफॉर्मेशन मिल रही है, और आप कह सकते हैं या फिर एक डिजिटल कैटलॉग मिल रहा है जहां पर हर एक चीज की डिटेलिंग in a well organized manner it is being done, so that the consumer is having the best of the experience. You see number of brands providing those facilities of augmented reality versions, or they are providing you those virtual reality versions of the product wherein you can just experience the things. For example, for the glasses, so there are number of brands, बहुत सारी brands हैं आपको जो वेबसाइट से ये ऑफर कर रही हैं कि आप यू टेक योर पिक्चर, यू सी कि आपकी फेस कट पर कौन सा ग्लास जो है कैसा लगेगा, राइट? सो दैट इज अ पार्ट ऑफ व्हाट, दैट इज अ पार्ट ऑफ योर ऑगमेंटेड रियलिटी और वर्चुअल रियलिटी. सो द बिजनेस इज टेकिंग दैट मच एफर्ट कि कंज्यूमर शुड हैव best of the experience, right? Or let's suppose you want to buy the furniture, now you get those options onto the website जहाँ पर you can click the photograph of your room or your particular drawing room, and you can just see, let's suppose if this is a vase, this is how it fits into my place. So that ways you can look into that, this is the best of the class experience. And furthermore for the clothing also, so you click a photograph of yours website, there are number of websites or the businesses which provide you those options that you can upload your image and you can see that this outfit will fit onto you in what manner, how would you look like or how would you appeal into that particular color or particular attire. Because many customers still have that apprehensions about how the color would look onto me, how would it appeal. So the sellers are providing an added experience. They are providing that experience of virtual reality, of augmented reality, of that 3D experience, so that the customer is retained. The customer is happy because again, customers should remain happy as he or she is the kingpin of the market. Furthermore, when we are talking about this store front model, we have this technology that the businesses use, that is a shopping cart technology. So this is the most commonly used e-commerce enablers, which is known as your shopping cart. So this is basically a order processing technology which allows the consumers or the customers that they can accumulate their items, whatever they wish to buy, and they can just put it into the cart as they continue to shop. So let's suppose you like product A, you put it into the cart. you like product B, you put it into the cart, and so on. So whenever you want to go for the payment, you need not to make the payment for each and every item. Rather, you can accumulate the items you wish to buy, and you can add them onto the cart. And nowadays this shopping cart technology is being upgraded with this version of wish list, that this is the product you wish to purchase, but right now you are not buying that, maybe you want to buy it later, so you can put it down onto the wish list. So that is also a great experience to the consumer. Furthermore, the main thing that is supporting the shopping cart is the catalog. As time and again I'm telling you up, that shopping cart is this digital catalog, it's one of the most important thing, because whatever and how you are putting up your this digital catalog is very important. What all goods you are classifying them onto the digital catalog, what all color themes, what is the UI, everything matters a lot, because that is the first impression that the consumer is having about the brand, because there's no intermediator who is going to explain about the product, right? And under this again further, the merchant server will make sure that it is having the storage and management system, and so that it is having whatever information is required, so it is having that ready-made information with him, because through that database he is able to design and store a large set of information. For example, if you go to any online clothing retailer, they would typically include the descriptions as, let's suppose, item description, the size, its availability into the in the back end, the information, the stock level, and sometimes you see that out of stock, sometimes you see only 2 are remaining, right? So those technologies are intentionally being put up so that the customer can get the real-time experience. And furthermore, it is also very good for the supplier's point of view, because they can also look into the data and they can see into that what sort of goods are being most kept into the carts by the consumers. So that way this sort of your database will be really very helpful for both the consumers and the suppliers. Further on, online shopping malls. So when we are saying online shopping malls, this is nothing coming exclusively. It is a subcategory, subdomain of your storefront model, wherein into a online shopping mall you present the consumers with a this wider selection of goods and services, and the consumers can find from an array of goods and services whatever good they want to buy. They'll put the goods from that entire digital catalog, or what we call it a shopping mall, to the cart, right? And then they can finally accumulate the goods into the cart, and then can run a single transaction wherein all these goods will be bought in a one go, right? So when we see the shopping malls, those shopping mall sites, sometimes they act as your shopping portals, or sometimes they direct the traffic to for a particular product. For example, if I say कि मैंने Google में लिखा, let's say shoes under 2000, तो you get those या किसी भी search engine browser में आपने डाला कि let's suppose shoe under 2000, so आपको varied information मिल जाएगी कि shopping का एक segment आता है जिसमें you see n number of websites are there, so आपको जहाँ से भी purchase करना है, you click on to the same, it will take you to some other website, or it will take you to its main head website, right? So that ways it is also, these shopping malls, they are also helpful in connecting to the main you could say sellers. So this is a storefront model, which is exactly like as it happens onto a traditional forum. Now the second very category is your auction model. So in the auction model, what happens out is the web offers various kinds of your auction sales or auction sites, wherein they search for other auction sites to pinpoint the lowest price on an available item. Now you have seen a number of websites, right? For example, where you get this option of putting a good for auctioning, right? There are various websites into the market. जहाँ पर आपको ऑक्शनिंग करने का मौका मिलता है. लेट्स सपोज मुझे अपना कोई भी प्रोडक्ट है, यूज प्रोडक्ट है, उसको सेल आउट करना है, राइट. सो आई क्लिक द फोटो, आई अपलोड इट. जो भी वेबसाइट एक ऑक्शन मॉडल या कोई बिजनेस मॉडल ऐसा है जो कि एक ऑक्शन मॉडल बेस्ड है, सो वो क्या करता है, आपने कोई पोस्ट डाली, लेट्स सपोज आपने ये गुड को बेचना है, आपने क्लिक करा, आपने उसको पोस्ट डाली, आपने उसका डिस्क्रिप्शन बताया, मेक इन ईयर बताया, द प्राइस दैट यू रिक्वायर टू सेल योर आइटम एंड द डेडलाइन टू क्लोज दैट ऑक्शन. So you'll post all this description, right? So these auction sites, they will do what does, they will act as a forum जहाँ पर इंटरनेट यूजर्स, बहुत सारे यूजर्स होंगे, कुछ लोग जो बेचना चाहते हैं, they'll assume the role of a seller, जो लोग खरीदना चाहते हैं, they'll be the bidder for the things, and this is how the auctioning happen in the real time without there being a traditional model involved. Rather, you connect with an online community, you connect with an online set of users where you sort of connect with them, where you sort of auction your product, and all those interested buyers will come to you and will be, if they are interested, if quoting a price whatever you require, so it matches, and if it matches, it will be the transaction will be completed, right. Now, सो ये वेबसाइट्स क्या करती हैं, ये ऑक्शनर वेबसाइट्स होती हैं जो कि एक इंटरमीडिएरी का रोल करती है. दैट इज व्हाई दे आर नॉट डायरेक्ट बिजनेस टू कंज्यूमर. अनदर मॉडल ऑफ योर ई बिजनेस इज योर पोर्टल मॉडल. पोर्टल मॉडल is, sometimes you see onto some website you are looking for news, and there are certain advertisements that are going on to the right and left or top or the bottom. You click, you find something very interesting. Let's suppose you want to know about the latest clothing. Some tab is there with respect to latest fashion, or let's suppose latest or updates about the weather or shopping or something like that. The minute you click on to that thing, right, you were normally doing what? You were reading a news onto some website. अब उस वेबसाइट से न्यूज़ रीड करते हुए जो साइट्स पर आपको सजेशंस आ रही हैं या लेफ्ट या राइट पर आ रही हैं आपको, आपने उनमें से किसी एक पर क्लिक करा, राइट. और वो वेबसाइट कैसी है, वो इस तरीके से इंटीग्रेटेड है कि वो सिर्फ एडवर्टीजमेंट्स नहीं है जिस पर आपने क्लिक करा, वो डेडिकेटेड टैब्स हैं, ठीक है. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, अर्लियर देयर यूज्ड टू बी याहू MSN, right? Yahoo is there, MSN is there. So वहाँ पर you get this portal model wherein you get that weather, right? You get the option for shopping, you get the option for, let's suppose, the news, let's suppose the movies, let's suppose, different tabs. They are permanently there. These are not the advertisements. So अब जिसके ऊपर भी क्लिक करेंगे, it will take you to different portal. तो अगर आप न्यूज़ पे क्लिक करेंगे, वो न्यूज़ से आपको दूसरे पोर्टल पर मल्टीपल न्यूज़ चैनल्स के आपको ऑप्शंस देगा. सो दैट इज कि जहाँ से एक नया पोर्टल जो है, एक नया एवेन्यू आपका ओपन हो रहा है. So these give visitors that they get a chance to find whatever they are looking for on one place, right? They can offer news, sports, weather information, right? And portal links, they link the consumers to the online merchants, be it your online shopping malls, auction sites. So they keep on collecting this information and they allow the users that they can independently browse the things, and they get redirected to any other further retailer via that portal only, right? The last very model of your e-business is your dynamic pricing model. So dynamic pricing model, as the name suggests, where the price is not constant, rather it keeps on updated, it keeps on changing because of the strong forces of demand and supply, because it is strongly getting impacted through the market environment. So that is why you would see that there are number of companies who are operating as a dynamic pricing model. You see number of websites, for example, there will be a website जहाँ पर आप compare कर सकते हैं for the prices of hotels. There will be a website where you can easily compare for the prices of your airline tickets. You can easily, check for the prices for, let's suppose, any upcoming sports games, concerts. So that's a dynamic pricing model that they follow. They do whatever is the demand and supply, accordingly the prices of the good or the services would change, right? So this is a very, pricing strategy which are regularly adjusted. You always see that, airline tickets, they are so dynamic in nature, and you go to any website where you want to compare the airline fares of different airlines, right? You want to compare their airfares. So there must be some websites who are operating into the market by name ABC. So they do what is, they compare the airfare of different airlines, and they'll tell you, okay, this airline A is, it is running from this time to this time, right? It is having a stop or it is a non-stop one, and this is its fare, right? Second let's suppose airline B, airline C, D, and so on. So it will display you about the prices of all these 5, 10, airlines, their prices, their timings when they are running, whether they are one stop, whether they are non-stop, what are the facilities that you are getting along with. So you see multiple websites that are dedicatedly, providing this facility only, or they are operating onto this niche business model. So that is why they are known as your dynamic pricing models, right? And you would also similarly see the same practice in case of your hotels, where you could see, especially at the time of peak seasons, right? There is a major jump, or, in the time of your off season, there is a slump into the prices of these hotels. So there are websites which provide you these comparison services, where you can compare A, B, C, D, E, F, and so on. You could say sellers onto one platform. So that is your dynamic pricing model, wherein you can compare all of them under one roof, without getting into that hassle of moving from one website to another. Because otherwise, imagine अगर आपको 5 से 7 एयरलाइन के टिकट्स के रेट देखने हैं, so it will be very cumbersome for you कि आप different websites पर जाएं और उनको चेक करें. तो nowadays you see कि बहुत सारी ऐसी वेबसाइट्स हैं, वो क्या करती है, उन्हीं 5-7 जो आपके एयरलाइन टिकट्स हैं उनका रेट किसी एक पर्टिकुलर वेबसाइट पर दिखा देगी. सो दैट इज मच मोर कन्वीनियंट फॉर यू. एंड देयर आर वेरियस बिजनेस मॉडल्स जिसने इसको राइटली डायनामिक प्राइसिंग मॉडल को अडॉप्ट करा है, और वो ये फैसिलिटी प्रोवाइड करें जहां आप अंडर वन रूफ आप सारी चीज़ को कंपेयर इजीली कर सकते हैं, इंस्टेड ऑफ गेटिंग इनटू दैट हैसल ऑफ कि आप हर एक वेबसाइट पे इंडिविजुअली जाएं. ठीक है. सिमिलरली एयरलाइन टिकट्स पे होता है, सिमिलरली होटल्स के केस में होता है, स्पोर्ट्स गेम्स हो गई, आपकी कंसर्ट्स हो गए. सो दिस इज अ वाइडली एप्लीकेबल एंड पॉपुलर मॉडल, and this is based on to the major forces of your demand and supply. So with this we have discussed the dynamic pricing model, we have discussed the portal model, auction model, and your this major storefront model, right? So you have seen a lot of difference between all these form of your e-business models, wherein storefront model talks about a B2C, which is the direct model, wherein a portal model which will take you to further, it will route it to you to different retailers. There is an auction model wherein these businesses, they act as an intermediary, and there is a, the supplier is unknown, the buyer is unknown, right? And lastly, this is a dynamic pricing model wherein the business is operating into a niche of comparing different websites and providing you information under one, you could say, roof, right? So these are the different e-business models. This is what is the basic framework of your e-business. How do they operate? And these were the little tips that you can keep into mind, right? And when you are, looking into any e-business model, that what is its framework, what are its type, how does it operate? So there's a lot more to the segment that will be taking up into the next segment. So till then, thank you and take care.